Hey there, students in NT104. This is Professor Buer. I just wanted to get in touch with you very quickly to give you some information to get ready to finish your papers that are due in just about a week or so. As of now, I have finished grading everything that has been due up to this point in the class. My apologies for being a little bit behind on that regard, but I'm now caught up and you're ready to finalize everything for the paper. So what I wanted to do is to give you some quick pointers and tips and some information on what we're going to be looking for and to give you a file that will help you evaluate and assess what you're doing. So without further ado, let me first explain to you the content of the paper that you're going to be turning in and what I expect to see. The name of this handout is NT104 Instructions for Exegetical Papers, and it's available in the online course files. But I want to focus specifically on the presentation section because it tells you exactly what you need in the paper. First quick note is that each paper it needs to be about 10,000 words, and that's a good estimate, plus or minus 10%. I'm not as concerned about page length, but I am concerned about word count, and that'll get you to the amount that you want. You will notice that in the order section that I'm going to talk to you about, there are some page approximations, and that would be for single-spaced work. But here's what you need to notice in terms of the order of the contents, and this is the exact order that we expect, and this is the way I want you to present it. First will be an interpretive translation or paraphrase. We haven't really talked about this. But essentially, we want you to take an approach where you bring out all of your exegetical decisions. Think of a translation like The Message or the New Living Translation. That's very paraphrastic, very kind of over the top in terms of the details that it brings out. That's what we want you to aim for here. Don't do a literal translation. Do something that's even more explicative of what's going on in the text. Then next you'll have your exegetical central main idea, which is part of your exegetical outline, and then you'll have the exegetical outline following that, and then you'll put your commentary with phrase outline headings. And then you'll close with applications. We haven't really talked about applications, but what I'm looking for are good, appropriate, personal, tangible applications about what you are going to do as a result of thinking through this passage and understanding it better. And then in the appendices, this is where we're going to focus on the technical information. You have to do 2 text-critical problems, one of which you've already done in Ephesians 2:21 concerning the article. You get to pick another one. They are going to be more collapsed, a tighter format than what you did before in NT103, but you still need to do the work. You need to do the good text critical work to make a decision about that problem. And then you'll put your structural layout, and then you'll do 2 diachronic word studies. You've already done one on chiropoietas, so you get to pick another. And again, it's going to be in a little bit more of a collapsed format than what you did previously, but it still needs to cover the same material and cover the same detail. And one quick note, I do want you to do diachronic word studies. I want to see that you've looked at the word in the classical period, in the Septuagint, and in the Koine period, as well as in the New Testament. In some other materials that some of my colleagues use, they focus on synchronic word studies, but I want diachronic, and so make sure that you focus on that. And then you'll do problem solving and validation. You've already done one of those on the referent of the dividing wall, and then you'll need to pick another problem and discuss that in full. And again, it's going to be slightly more compact than what you did before, but it needs to cover the same type of ground and follow the same format. And then you won't include any diagrams. There's no need for a table of contents. I do want you to include a bibliography, and as I mentioned to you in several places, I prefer Turabian format with footnotes, and so no parenthetical citation. Please plan on using footnotes. So that's the coverage of what's going to be in the paper and the particulars that we expect to see. This file is an evaluation rubric that we use to evaluate the exegetical papers. What it's designed to do is to give you some insight into what we look for and evaluate as we're looking at the papers. You'll see that on the left are the particular elements of the paper in order with particular subdivisions, and then over the top are the different categories of evaluation. And so this is something that you'll get when I return the paper to you that'll help you see where you've done well and where you might need some improvement. And it's not a one-to-one rubric. It doesn't mean that if you have everything excellent that you will automatically get a 100 or an A+. There is some subjective evaluation that has to go into the process, but it's designed to be roughly helpful in this regard. Let me show you a couple of things. For example, if you look at the exegetical sentence outline, you'll see that there are several things here that we've stressed in teaching this material. For example, do you have full sentences? Do the wording of those sentences reflect the structure of thought in terms of a subject and a complement, etc.? If you look down at the commentary, there are several things we're looking for here. For example, do you have good introduction and transitions? Do you discuss key words and issues in the passage? Do you use reference tools and commentaries appropriately? So this particular file is used to just give us an overview of what you've done in the paper, to give some assessment of it. And so I'm going to give you a copy of this so that you can be able to see what we're looking for and have it beside you as you work on your paper. Okay, that's a good overview, I think, of what you need to know for the next week as you get ready to finish your papers. I did want to let you know that because I was a little bit tardy in getting everything graded, I've decided to give you some extra time to complete the major paper that's coming up. The due date that it was originally was Friday, March 27th. Now it's going to be due Monday, March 30th. So that gives you an additional 3 days to work on it, especially a weekend I thought would be really helpful. So it'll be due 11:59 p.m. on that Monday instead of Friday. So I hope that extra time is helpful to you. If you do have questions as you're working, do not hesitate to contact me. I'm very happy to dialogue with you over specific questions you've got about how to handle an issue or how to get everything together. Just let me know and I'll be happy to help you as I can. I hope you have enjoyed working on the papers up to this point. It's a great process and it's a great way to learn, and I hope that this is something that's a benefit to you even beyond just completing this in the course. So I hope you have a good weekend, and I'll look forward to reading your papers in a week or so when they get turned in.